It's just. Hi, and welcome to Live to Thrive, a fortnightly live broadcast helping you and your business to thrive over the coming year. I'm Diana Johnson, and I'm passionate about helping you, small business owners and entrepreneurs, to build your personal brand online influence through the power of video. Effective video marketing has the power to move people into action and enable them to thrive. So, using my own experiences, I've invited along experts from areas that I've needed to work on to achieve my goals in order to give you access to reliable, honest help and advice to empower you to achieve your goals too. If you have any questions, do send them in and we'll get through as many as we can. This week, I'm delighted to welcome Stacey Edgehill from LinkedIn. Stacey, welcome, and it's great to have you here.
Hello, hi. Thanks for having me along, Diana.
You're very welcome. Stacey, would you like to tell us a bit about your journey and how you came to start up LinkedIn?
Yeah, well, I mean, my LinkedIn journey started a long time ago, probably it's over 10 years. I think it's come up for 15 years ago when I first joined it. And, I didn't do anything for a long time. And then when I did, I was in sales. I was literally just looking at LinkedIn to find out who the person in the company is that I need to talk to so I could get past the receptionist, get past the gatekeeper. And that was all I was doing. What happened was in about 2015, I lost a job due to redundancy. It was in the oil crisis that happened around about then. And what I did was I used LinkedIn to then go on, have a look, drop a few private messages to some connections I had made. And I put a post up just saying, look, I'm available, I'm in the market. And the return I had on that was phenomenal. People getting in touch all the time. This is quite a long story, so I won't take up your whole show. But I had about 19 different opportunities of work on the back of that, and ultimately got a job. I got a job that I wanted. I loved it. Within a month of being in that job, I wrote an article. It was my first article that I'd written. Articles were done very differently back then, and they were marketed through LinkedIn Pulse, which they had at the time. And that went quite far. I don't know if I'd quite say viral, but 4,000 views. And now with about 9 times the amount of connections I have now compared to then, my articles now only get about 200 views. So at the time, it was really, really good going.
Do you think that's down to algorithms?
Yeah. So yeah, it just, but what it did was it really woke me up, and I thought, gosh, there's really something in this LinkedIn. So I started using it more and more and more. And just naturally, after a couple of years, people started asking me, how do you do this or how do you do that? I was winning business. I was getting through the door, and I was telling them. And a young girl, a young solicitor who I was helping one day, and she said to me, you should charge for this. And I just went, charge for this? I have a job. Why would I do that? That was about 3 years ago. I really did dismiss it. I walked out of that meeting not even giving it a second thought. But within the next few months, about 3 or 4 more people had said, look, this is lacking in the area. Why don't you do this? And I thought one day, yeah, okay, maybe I will. And that's really where I ended up doing it now. So it's all from learning, but an absolute passion. I just really, really like the platform. I
guess we all do stuff that we're passionate about. So it's great to hear. I mean, your passion comes through enormously, especially when you go to any of your training or anything as well.
Oh, so, thank you.
It's really good. But now, as we both know, videos are 5 times more likely to spark those kind of conversations and start that journey that you've been talking about there than any other kind of content that you can put on social media. And in order for people to see those videos, I guess on LinkedIn in particular, you have to kind of get your profile right and your presence right.
There's so much work to do behind the scenes before even video posting anything. There's so much more. And the very first thing I tell people to do, and I work with people, is to get your profile right. So often when people sign up to LinkedIn, the profile is the first thing you have to complete. And quite often
it's the first thing people see, isn't it, of you?
Exactly, yeah. And a lot of the time people might just fill in what they think is the bare minimum so they can get through to it. But actually, you should spend a lot of time getting your profile right. I ask all of my delegates, all my clients to think about your profile as if it's a website, your own personal but LinkedIn website. And if you think about it in that way, then you spend a lot more time, because you would never just have a website, put in the bare minimum and then do nothing, right? But what I want to try and do is drive people to your page, so your website. And if you think about it that way, it makes it a lot easier. So I work with people right from the top down. We'll start with the banner at the top, the background photo. And I ask you to think about that like a ad banner, free advertising space on your own page. Think about your profile photo. And you know the saying, your smile is your logo. I use it all the time. So think about that. But I am not, by the way, for anybody who is watching this, and I see a few coming through. Hi guys.
Yeah, there's people online now.
Yeah. I am not saying to use your logo for your photo. Definitely not. You want a very, very good, clear headshot, preferably. And I'm not saying this because it's Diana, but preferably a professional one. They get the better returns. Because all those
absolutely professional. Yeah. You don't want photos taken at someone's wedding.
They do know. You guys know how to. Yeah, you know how to tell us how to tilt our head and our chin, and we make the slightest little movements, and it totally changes the photo. So definitely, professional is best. However, if you can't do that right now, even just a nice clear headshot, head and shoulders, until you can get the professional, because it's really important that you're building relationships with people. People should know who they're talking to. So, and yeah, so I mean, the about section on a website, you'd have an about section for the website. So on your profile, have a good about section about you, what you can do for people. Two things not to have, and I'm going to caveat this after that, but the first thing is not the summary from your CV. I'll come back to that in a minute. The second thing is not a cut and paste from your website. People are coming to you. It's a first chance for them to build a relationship with you. So you want to be able to tell a good story about why somebody should want to deal with you and what you can do for them. And that's what you want to have in your about section. Caveat to that is if you are looking for work, if you are, then you want to have some form of what you'd have in your CV, but written in the first person and a bit more personal, letting know people what you can do and what you are capable of. So that's just a caveat for that. But if you're talking about sales and get more business, no, you want to make sure you're having the a good about section. And it carries through, you know, if you think about SEO for a website, have lots of good keywords in there, have the skills attributed to your keywords. There's a recommendation section. Well, that's like testimonials on your website. There's literally nothing in there that I really can't relate to making you think about it like a website. And if you do, then what we'll do is we'll work next to drive people to your page, and your page will sell for you.
Okay. You mentioned there about CVs and things like that. Obviously, I know you also work with CV Aberdeen.
I do, yeah.
Helping people to create and polish their CVs. And I guess in the situation we find ourselves currently in, there's going to be an awful lot of people out there who could use your help and advice about that. But could LinkedIn be a go-to digital online CV? Do you think people are using it like that when people are inquiring, or people say, oh yeah, you should speak to so-and-so about filling that particular vacancy? Do people go onto LinkedIn and try and find those people and check them out online?
Oh yeah, definitely they do. Well, so yeah, I do help people with their CVs through CV Aberdeen, and part of the packages, or some of the packages that we offer, include LinkedIn makeovers as well. Because as I tell everybody, there's not a recruiter or hiring manager on this planet that will not go and check you out on social media. and particularly your LinkedIn, you need to have your LinkedIn ready for that. So yes, ultimately is the answer. And whether somebody's just searching for someone or if they're following it from a CV, they're going to be in your LinkedIn page. So you definitely need to get that right. So the things you need to consider there that are maybe slightly different is, like I said, the about section.
Okay.
Still able to tell a story, but at that point you maybe do want to take some elements from your summary and your key skills and pop them in there. If it's public knowledge that you're available for work, let people know that. If it's not, those subtle hints about what you're capable of, that's not really going to take away from the fact that you're maybe still in employment, but it can still let people know what you can and can't do. And for your experience, so all of your jobs, don't just cut and paste your job description into each one, because I see that all too often on CVs as well. But, rather, you do need to make sure you have a few keywords in there, but your achievements, that's what hiring managers and employers are looking for, what you've actually done while you're there, what you're capable of doing, why they should take you over the next person.
And when you say what you're capable of doing, it's quite important for people to think of all the skills they have, not necessarily as in the job that they're currently doing, but how that could be applied to other jobs.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a really good, on LinkedIn, you have space for 50 skills. Use that base. This is a message for everybody, whether you're a job hunter or not. Go and have a look at your skills section, because if you've been using LinkedIn for a long time, there's a very, 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 very good chance you're going to have a lot of out-of-date skills.
Guilty as charged on that one, I think.
Yeah. Well, here's a little story for you. I'm talking about recruitment here because I write CVs. That's because I have a recruitment background, about 10 years in the recruitment industry, but I've never been a recruiter. I've always been sales. But I've been amongst them, I've been around them. I've done a lot of hiring for myself and in companies and stuff like that. So working on CVs is not new to me, but I've never been a recruiter. Because I've been involved in recruitment agencies and recruitment businesses, I went to clean up my skills a few years ago, and I had things like 200 endorsements for technical recruiting. I would not know where to begin with technical recruiting. I wouldn't know what to do. And there was loads like that. And that's the way LinkedIn used to do. They used to put it in front of people. They had an option when you signed in. They'd be presented with one of your connections and about 4 different skills that were maybe related to what they did. LinkedIn, obviously, assuming people would only endorse you if you could actually do them, but people would just endorse you anyway. So so I had
every time I used to log in, they used to get, oh, so and so. Do you want to endorse him for this? I'm like, I didn't even know he did that.
Yeah, totally. And the thing is, I mean, like a lot of the endorsements I got, I don't even really know who they were from, and but they were presented with them. And to work in recruitment, she probably does. I'll give her that. So I had a very, very good cleanup. I know some people feel nervous about deleting them if they've got lots of endorsements, but don't feel nervous about, who cares if you have 200 endorsements for technical recruiting when you don't do that. It doesn't get rid of it. But then add in some skills, even if they're not there, you can freehand type them in. So put some skills in and get the keywords packed into your profile.
Okay, yeah, keywords are, as they say, key, I think, in this instance. So, okay, so now you've got a great profile. You're going to need to think about what content you're putting out there, because just having a profile isn't enough to get seen, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, the algorithm, once you do work on your profile, it will push you out a little bit more. But if you're not doing anything else to maintain it, you're just going to dwindle down the list again. So really, you need to be posting. Posting is the best way to be seen. So you need to be posting on a regular basis. But here's the kicker, and I am talking again about sort of using LinkedIn for sales and business predominantly, but not posting about business.
Right.
Will actually give you a better chance of getting more business. So,
okay.
If you think about, well, so let's just go back first of all to think about who's using LinkedIn. All right. People use LinkedIn. Companies don't use LinkedIn. It's people in companies who use LinkedIn, right? So it's always a person. So think about the person you're dealing with, and then maybe think about yourself and what makes you want to read. What stories do you want to read? Are you really, really interested? Unless you are absolutely 100% in the market for what somebody's posting about business-wise, you're going to skim past it. However, there may be other things within that business. So if you get interested in the person and feel like you're building a relationship in the person, you're going to click through to their page. Remember, we've got your page already. Your page is going to sell for you. So what you want to be doing is driving people to your page as much as possible, letting them see what you're capable of, getting them to getting the page to kind of sell for you, and then the content that you're posting. So things like, I mean, I'm not talking about using it like to say what you've had for your dinner last night, unless you can make it relate, right? But that's not what I'm really talking about. But it also doesn't have to be business. Now, it can be slightly related. Maybe you might give some advice or some top tips, something you've learned. Maybe it could just be a little meeting that you've had with somebody, so you're kind of giving them the promotion. It could be,
you're letting people know about your connections as well and how well connected you are.
Absolutely, yeah. So there's loads of things you can post
about. I was talking with this person,
Yeah, totally. So
Yeah.
there's ways, but giving people a little insight into you and your life as well lets them build that relationship with you. So again, when they feel they know you, it makes it so much easier for them to want to deal with you. So
Yeah.
bringing in
Quite
your life a little
easy.
bit. Totally. Yeah.
And building relationships on social media is kind of what it's there for, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um,
Yeah.
So, and what sort of content, what sort of form should that content take? I mean, we hear a lot about text posts versus pictures versus videos. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion is it really should be varied, that you really should be able to mix it up. The algorithm does seem to be favouring text posts recently, but it's actually linked
Oh,
more
really?
towards the content. It's just quite a recent change, yes. However, photos and documents are still working if you've got the right content. So that's why a lot of the time they are linked to the very salesy posts, which are not performing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
videos, on the other hand, videos are a nice other way to be getting that content across without having to have all the text. So you're kind of winning both worlds, because you're getting the image and you're getting the text. So
Yeah.
videos have a really good chance of getting you seen more.
Yeah. I mean, you're communicating on different levels. People can see you, they can hear you if they want to hear
Mhm.
you, or they can
Mhm.
read the captions if they don't want to do that. So,
Yeah,
that's three
providing you
different
put
ways
the
of
captions on,
communicating.
which I recommend you do,
Sorry,
definitely.
captions. Oh,
Providing
yeah.
you put the captions on.
I would recommend people put captions on all of their videos, no matter
Yes.
what format it is, because I know myself when I'm watching a video, 9 times out of 10 it's got the sound off.
Yeah, same.
So if they're doing that for this, then we're there's no point in us being
Well,
here. But there we
I
go.
obviously a little bit different, yes. But if you're recording, if you're playing,
Caption it later, shall we?
if
I
you're
mean,
posting
also,
a video,
yeah,
caption
with
it,
also with
definitely.
video, it touches on other aspects of what you've already mentioned. It's so much easier to build a relationship with people.
Mhm.
To let people to see who you really are, and they can feel that they're getting to know you without actually necessarily meeting you through a video in a way that they just can't do on a text post. I think it's so
Yeah.
difficult to get an emotional connection with people on a text post or even on a photograph. But it's that much easier through video as a form, I think.
Definitely a lot quicker. I think it is possible the other ways, but it takes longer to do it.
Yeah.
Whereas video
And
is so much quicker. So
also with videos, you can spark people's curiosity, I think, in a way that you can't with anything else. In that they're always wondering what's going to happen next.
mhm.
With this live broadcast, what are they going to do? Are they going to fall off their chair in a minute? I don't know. We'll find out. Probably, it's a very strong
Also,
possibility.
you can't really fake a video or Photoshop a video or something, can you? You know what I mean? So like in a photo, you're like,
As a
okay, all right,
videographer,
well, hey, I can't. So my videos are genuine.
I couldn't possibly say.
That's another discussion.
Absolutely. You also mentioned there documents.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think that's a side of LinkedIn that gets missed a lot. And incidentally, we've had a question in from Sam. What's the difference between posts and articles? Now, there's documents and articles and posts and all sorts of things, aren't there?
Yeah, when you're going to post on LinkedIn, so you have a few options. You can post just a post with nothing. You can do a post with a picture, post with a video, a post with a document. So I'll talk about those first of all. And they all kind of come under the same banner, but are, like, obviously if you've got the photo, the video, or the document, you just select a different tab. And a document, that can be anything. It can be a PDF, it could be Excel, it could be Word, PowerPoint. So any of those you can attach. So what can be really good about those is so as much as I've said earlier about not posting about business, I actually should have caveated that a little bit to say not always posting about business, because let's face it, you're on LinkedIn for business. Nobody joins LinkedIn for fun, and nobody uses LinkedIn for fun, even if you find it fun like I do, because I really do enjoy it. But that's not the reason I'm here. And if we weren't getting business, we wouldn't keep using it. So we're obviously on it for a reason, and it is okay to talk about your business, but do expect slightly lower engagement. And if people aren't engaging with you all the time for your other content, they're not going to engage for your business. So it is okay, but I advise people to maybe try and follow the Pareto rule if you can. So 80-20, it's a nice little one to follow.
Sure.
So that could be a good idea for the documents tab. If you've got maybe some PDFs your services or things like that, maybe share that once a month or every so often on the, through a document. But other things that I've seen other people do on the documents, I am not very creative, so I haven't done it. But I've seen really cool like PowerPoint ones that you just click through. And do you remember when you were little and you had a book and you would draw a little picture and each page would have a different picture and you'd flick through it and it was like a cartoon walking? Well, I've seen people do things like that and I thought they were really quite clever. So some of the document things can really, really stand out, but I'm not that clever, so I don't use documents that often. I
disagree with that. You mentioned sorry.
Yeah, sorry, and I just realised I haven't followed up with the difference between articles as well. So your articles are really your posts are for the here and now and things you want to get out. And yes, you can plan them and take your time, but they're usually for what's going on right now. Your articles.
How often should you be posting posts?
I would say at least once a week. I wouldn't say, I do say at least once a week, but more if you can. But once a week is your absolute minimum. If you're not doing that, guys, you need to do that from now on. More
and
if
articles?
You can. Articles, about once a quarter is fine. Articles, they just, right now, I'm saying right now because things change all the time with LinkedIn. So like I said at the very, very start, my very first article, when I don't even know if I had 1,000 connections, went out to about 4,000 people. My articles that I write now, I get around about 200 views, and I would be worried about that, except I hear it from all the other people as well. It's the algorithm that has changed a lot. So articles don't get pushed out as much as what your posts do. However, you should still have them on your profile. You still want them there. Remember, I'm going to bring us back to the beginning. Your profile is like your own personal website, and you'd maybe have a blog section or an information section on your website. You want those there. The term thought leader, it's not one of my favorite terms, but it really does work when you apply it to the articles, because that will establish you. That's your credibility. So as somebody asked me the other day, they said, will articles help with my visibility? And I did have to think about it. And I said, okay, here's the thing. They're really not going to help with your visibility, but they will help with your credibility. And it's really important that you have them there for that.
Right. Craig's asked a good question here. I'm not sure if this relates to articles and documents or if it relates just to posts. Maybe he can clarify this. But what would you say is the percentage split between the human side, the sort of people and culture type things, the informative stuff, as in the how-tos and guides and things, and the business sales and marketing content should be?
I think I maybe did answer that when I said the Pareto rule about having sort of, yeah. Okay, so I'll answer that and I'll answer Craig's one. So yeah, roughly around about, I would say 1 post in every 5 for a business and the rest non-business. However, your non-business can still be business related if you're maybe giving tips and advice, because basically what I'm saying is only if you have to talk about your services and ask for the sale, try and not do that more than 1 in every 5 if you can. So hopefully that sort of helps a little bit with that answer.
Craig's also asking how many should you post a day? Now I think we mentioned that slightly earlier, but does the important part that he makes, I think, is, does LinkedIn penalize you for posting a lot on the same day?
Once a day is fine. Posting about 3 to 4 times a week is ideal, or even once a day. If you have to post more than once a day, I would do 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon. So sometimes I maybe have a lot to say and it has to go out then, or I've maybe already posted about something, but actually something comes up and it can't really wait. So I will. Now, you always want to have a minimum of a 3-hour gap. You need to let that first post run for a little bit of time, because if you don't, it is seen as overlapping and LinkedIn definitely won't push it out as much. But I always do notice that if I do post twice in 1 day, that my first post gets the most visibility. But as long as I give it a good gap, it's not too far off my average. So if you are going to post more than 1 a day, I would try and keep it 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and no more than that.
So posting multiple times a day or multiple times a week, and articles and documents and videos and photos and text and goodness knows what, it all sounds really time consuming. So how much time should we actually spend on LinkedIn every day or every week?
Ideally, in an ideal world, if you spent about half an hour a day, that would be really, really good. But it's not, even for some people, that's not always, I mean, for me, I'm on it for hours. So it's fine, it's there all the time. So for me, half an hour is like, well, only half an hour. However, I know that everybody has got different business priorities and things to do. You can look to schedule some of your posts. So you can use scheduling tools such as Hootsuite or Buffer or Publer, things like that. And if you can think about what you want to post for the next week or month or however long, you can always schedule them to come out. But no matter what, I would recommend that you are on LinkedIn every day for about 5 minutes at least. And if you've got your posts already scheduled to come out, then at least every day, make sure that you're logging on to like and comment on other people's, because you need to give back as much as you want. So you need to interact.
Say it's about relationship building, and you can't have a one-way relationship, can you?
No, totally. So you definitely need to I'm going to answer Craig's next question in a second, because I see that coming up too. Yes, you definitely need to make sure that you are liking and commenting on others more than what you're posting. So, for example, you might notice I like the number 5, right? I talk about 5 quite a lot. It's my favorite number. So 5 posts a week, whatever. Right? So if you are going to post once a week, you really should be commenting at least 5 times that week. And for every comment, like 5 times. The easiest way to do that is if you log on every day and you like 5 posts and comment on 1 and then post once a week. So that's why I'm saying every day, if you do that, then whenever you like and whenever you comment, whatever you like and comment goes out to your connections news feeds as if you posted. So it's keeping you relevant. It's keeping your name there, which is going to be subliminal for some people. And then when you post, it's going to stand out more, but you're giving back a lot more than what you're asking. If you're only ever posting and not commenting and liking, LinkedIn won't push your post out to as many people because you're not shown to be giving back to others.
Okay. So Craig has also asked, as you've seen, what are your thoughts on joining LinkedIn in getting, he says easy for him to say, isn't it? Engagement groups. Thanks, Craig. Can we have a less complicated question next time? These are sometimes referred to as pods, obviously, as he's seen a lot of increase in locally in that being offered as part of business groups. Can I add to that about the other options that LinkedIn have, things like joining their premium service or the sales navigator and things like that?
Okay, well, I'll answer Craig's part first of all. Craig, I'm not a fan. Not a fan, because what a lot of these groups are doing is they're asking people to put their post in there and then encouraging people in the group to go and like and comment. Now, there is some argument, and I've tested this myself, for when you send people a link and ask them to like and comment through the link, it doesn't go very far. It's as if LinkedIn lets that person like and comment, but doesn't put it out to their network. So when you're asking people to do it in that way, you don't get the same engagement. What I recommend is if you have a post that you want more visibility on, send somebody a message to say, look, I've just done a post. Could you check my activity? It's about this. I'd love it if you could engage. So you're not sending a link to the post. You're asking people to go straight to your activity, which, by the way, you'll find everybody's activity on their profile. So you go into their activity and just have a look through their post and do it there. So that way, that's seen as being slightly more organic, not the same as if it's appeared in someone's newsfeed and they like it. That LinkedIn gives that the best because that's organic. It's shown up there. They've liked it. They've not had to go looking for it. If you go into their profile and look for it, that's the second best option. Your third best option is through a link, because once it's through a link, it's really going to diminish it and not. And I did an example with one, which I was having difficulty, unbeknown to me. I don't really know why this one, it was a gratitude post. I was giving thanks. And for some reason, I wasn't getting a lot of views at all. And I put it into 3 of my groups and asked people to like it. And out of the 3 groups, I think I got an extra 50 views on the post, So it really did not push it up, and everybody in my groups liked and commented, and it only went up by that and a little bit more. So that was all. And yes, and that includes commenting as well. So when we're talking about liking and commenting is always best. It gives you more visibility. It's better for the algorithm, and will give you more visibility, but it also gives more to the author as well, the person who's taken the time to write the post. It's more value to them to see all the comments. So you're seen to be given even more. So definitely if you can comment more, then that will help. So regardless which way it's come through, the commenting is going to be better.
Yeah. I just want to chuck in there as well that if you're posting video, we spoke earlier about posting video. If you're posting video, it's always best to post it onto LinkedIn Direct, not via a YouTube link or anything like that, because that suffers the same consequences, isn't it?
Yeah. And it means it can only be up to 10 minutes. So if it's longer than 10 minutes, it has to come via a different channel. But if it's
you can do longer videos on adverts.
Yes.
LinkedIn advertising, but
Which
does compress them, so they tend not to be quite so good quality.
that brings me back to your question about Sales Navigator and Premium.
Yes.
Sales Navigator and Premium can be fabulous tools, but you really, really, really have to understand LinkedIn. And there is so much value in the basic version that I always advise people. I hope LinkedIn's not watching, because I really think they're never ever going to.
This is my first video, Stacey. Thanks for getting me kicked off. So nice having you on.
No. I encourage people to use LinkedIn, but I do think there's a lot of value in the basic version. And what happens is if you upgrade too soon, then you just think it's a waste of money. So I always say, really, really get to grips with the free version. Use it as much as you can first. Then when you're totally affair with that, then you can look to see what else you can get out of the others.
I think that applies to anything online. Most websites or most online tools offer a free version, and it's always worthwhile getting to grips with that free version before you decide whether you commit to a paid subscription. And I think that's the same here. Just put the teeth back in. I think that's the same here, and I think Sales Navigator is a fantastic tool for salespeople. I think you can get a bit lost in it if you're not that focused in that area. It's one of those tools that are great if you're needing it. And I guess Premium is the same. So yes, where do we get to? So we've done the one thing I wanted to talk about. One thing I'm really keen on in my marketing is building relationships. So networking is my biggest form of marketing. Obviously, video is a very big form of my marketing, and I feel that helps you to get to know people, tell your story, build those relationships even before you've actually met people. We've had a question in from Joe, which I think sort of falls into that category. Should you accept connect requests from people you don't know?
Now, a lot of this depends on what you do and what your reasons are. I wouldn't necessarily just say no, because you really do want to grow your network. Now, here's how the network on LinkedIn works. Anybody you're connected to is your first degree network. Anybody that they're connected to and you're not is your second degree. And anybody that they are or who's in a group with you, but you're not first or second connections, is your third degree network. That's all you have access to. You don't have access to anybody out with that. So you do want to try and grow as much as possible so that even if it's not your own network, you can maybe get access to the second and the third. So if you keep it too tight, you're limiting yourself. Now, the likes of what I do, if I'm doing LinkedIn training, anybody who's on LinkedIn is a potential client for me, anybody. So I have no reason to not accept anybody, although crypto guys had it. Anyway, that's another story. So generally I have no reason not to accept anybody. It doesn't matter whether I know them or not. However, you have to be very, very careful when you are looking to connect with people who you're not connected to, because LinkedIn does say you should know someone before you connect with them. They also give you a 30,000 connection limit. And I'm sorry, but nobody on this planet knows 30,000 people. Like, they really, really don't, right? So for them to give you that limit, they obviously know people will be connecting. But the point is, that's okay to connect if you have a reason. So the people who are looking to connect with you hopefully should have a reason. I see no reason why, if you're not sure why they've accepted, to ask them, to accept and ask the message. I do recommend that people always send a message when they are connected. And if they've sent you a message, you'll be able to reply even without accepting, to ask why they want to, first of all. But I wouldn't be too tight in it, because you could be cutting yourself off a little bit if you are.
Yeah. I've seen I myself connect with people who are second connections who I'm interested. I've seen their posts through my first connections, and I'm interested in to find out more about what they do.
Absolutely.
So I've connected with them, sent them a message to say this is why I'm connecting.
Yeah.
We've also all had made connections with people who are those second connections and thought this is fine. We've got loads of connections, and have then been bombarded with perhaps sales messages,
Yes.
or shall we say, this might be a slightly contentious one, but people who mistake LinkedIn for things like Tinder. How would you suggest we deal with those two scenarios?
Well, I don't really get the second one, but
you can have some of mine.
Yeah, so
no.
You have the option to block and report people. So certainly if it's a second option, if people are sending you messages that you just don't like or things like that, absolutely report them. They should be reported, because you just either deleting or ignoring them means they're just going to do it to somebody else. So definitely 100% report that. When it's a sales messages, unfortunately, I think a lot of people, that's just what they think LinkedIn's for. So I feel quite bad just to say a straight off report them or whatever. But you do have the option to let them know you're not interested, and if they continue to reply. One of the issues that seems to be coming up more and more and more, and I'm getting so many of them I can recognize them, is that people are using third-party apps for their lead generation. Now, this is against LinkedIn's terms and conditions, and I know they're trying to cut down, but as fast as one company is shut down, there's 5 other ones opening up in their place. So it is really difficult. And those ones, for me, that's the ones I like even worse than when it's just a person, because at least if it's a person and you reply, they respond to you, say, I'm sorry, it's what, they didn't know, it's what they were doing, blah, blah, blah. When you reply to those and you get no message, fine well, it's just been sent by a random one and they're waiting for people to say yes, that they're using the spray and pray method. But I guess the best thing to do is ignore, and if it's really bothering you, report, and you can disconnect with that person.
Sure. Stacey, I'm conscious of time moving on. Is there anything else you wanted to discuss or think we should know urgently?
I don't know. I think we've probably answered quite a lot today, so I hope that's been helpful.
I mean, you've given us so many takeaways and so many actions that we can just put into practice quickly and immediately as well.
Yeah, good.
So that's been fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It was fun.
It's been great having you on. And since you're here, why don't you let people know how they can connect with you and find out more and get more of your help and advice? Yeah,
well, like I said, guys, I'm happy to accept requests. If we're not already connected, send me one. I prefer a little message to let me know why. Let me know you saw us on this or something. But I'm not. But I am. My new website address is below, LinkedIn. So LinkedIn now has a website. It won't be live until early November, but you can go on now and drop your email address in, which means you'll be I'll be notifying you of anything that's upcoming soon, and you'll get notified as soon as it's live. So if you want to do that, then feel free. And that's it for now, I guess. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. I definitely encourage people to keep an eye out for LinkedIn and to head over there in November. We can maybe remind them of that.
Thank you.
And also remember to connect with me on LinkedIn, on Instagram, or on YouTube. I'd like to thank you for watching today. And thank you also for all your questions. I'm sorry if we haven't had a chance to get to all of them, but we'll be sure to follow up on that and put it in the comments below the replay. So if you have anything else you think of, just let us know, and we'll try and answer those there for you too. Remember that Live to Thrive is here every fortnight. On a Thursday at 3 p.m. British Summer Time currently. So join me next time in 2 weeks' time, when I will be speaking to Bob Gentle from Amplify. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching Live to Thrive with me, Diana Johnson. Be sure to join the community at videomarketingconfidence.com, where I can help you to continue to find ways to thrive in the year ahead. See you next time.